Greetings, water siblings, and welcome back. It is currently around midday here in Gridgate. Isareth and her party spent the evening and morning resting and decided that they will be heading to the village of Kyakukya and speaking with the villagers there. Before we do that, we should offload some items we've picked up along the way. So, we're going to head over to the local trader here at Gridgate. This is Maffeo, a proud and parted mane of bristles frames a wide grin. Tied with thread to several of them are thumb bells meant to draw the attention of customers. Let's say hello to Maffeo, who has a chain laser emplacement in his shop. 3 steel barrels fit together into an arc-edged triangle of luminous ritualism. They sit on a servo-articulated base mount. So we should probably not steal from Maffeo. Welcome to Gridgate, Delver. Care to enhance the quality of your stay with a wise purchase? What kind of creature are you, Maffeo? We are called the Urshib, friend. Our kind are smarter than the average bear, sharper too, and a bit more handy. What wares do you sell, Maffeo? Oh, I sell whatever sundries that meet my standards of quality, with some measure of curation. I try to ensure that my shelves carry a bit of many things, but you can count on finding more than enough ammunition and a few recoilers that can lead you back here in difficult times. If you have anything in need of identification or repair, I can take care of that for you for a few drams as well. Tell me about Gridgate, Maffeo. Why, this place is Gridgate. Oh, the vaulted halls, the glint of chrome, the gentle hum of chain turret emplacements. There's nowhere like Gridgate in the whole of Qud, friend. I've journeyed in my comparatively short time, but I always return here. The very air buzzes with knowledge, as well as quite a few other things. I have been tasked to travel to Golgotha, Maffeo. My condolences to your sense of smell, friend. Golgotha is an execrable place, in more ways than one, and I would advise you not to visit without a healthy stock of yuckwheat and honey. If you can cook, a meal with yuckwheat may banish a disease before it comes into its own. Bring salves or berries too, and mind your feet in the cloaca. Live and drink, Maffeo. I'd like to trade with you. Okay. What does he have? greased steel boots. You may walk freely over webs. No thank you. Electric wrist warmer. That's really good. I might take that. For 64 trams. What else? What else do you have? The grid gate recoiler. We should get that. So, Maffeo is asking for 175 drams of water. He will accept a nylon body pack, the extra one that we have, some kudzu stems, and perhaps some grenades. Plasma grenade. Maybe a fungicide grenade and a poison grenade. We also have some other items here I don't need. We'll sell the dagger and the kukris. Keep our tonics. And I think that's good. Settle up, Maffeo. Have to pony up 13 drams. Live and drink, Maffeo. Thank you so much. Let's pop this fidget cell out of this stun rod and equip it in our left hand. So I did that wrong. I need the fidget cell. I will equip the fidget cell on my left arm. Oh, that's great. I thought I had to have it in my hand. Okay. So as we walk, the fidget cell should charge. Regains charge when worn or held in hand, much more quickly while in combat. Excellent. Spinning the stanic cuboid about any of its axes of rotation generates a pinch of resistance. A wrist strap and gyroscopic frame enable the cell to absorb and store its wearer's kinetic energy. So we'll charge that up and pop whatever cells we have into our grid gate recoiler. We'll replace this cell with this other fidget cell. Now we have two fully charged recoilers to save us in a pinch. Let's head back to camp, and it's already actually kind of late. It might be dusk soon. Let's have a meal. It is waning salt sun on the 27th of Tishrui Ux. So I think, let's see if we can wait until morning. Oh, it is already? Question mark. Well, in any case, let's get out of here. I wanted to try. There's a lot of corpses here. I wanted to try this closer camera angle to see how it felt, and if you find it too close or you prefer the previous distance, please let me know. It is now reaching dusk, sundown, but that's okay. Let's take a look at the map. Now, here we are at Grid Gate. The village of Kyakukya is southeast of us here. Here is the jungle village of ape-god worshippers and their giant mushroom dwellings. Gloaming has informed the party that a visit to Kyakukya would be beneficial before going to Golgotha and the wastes beneath it. And so, we move. You notice some ruins nearby. Would you like to investigate? Yes, at least to mark it on the map. You discover the 10th Dupir, to mark it in our journal. There is some fungus here. Rose puff, azure puff, and gold puffs. Let's read this. Rose gills tense and release, tense and release, tense and release, as if drawing breath into the puffer's stem. With each exhalation, it belches a cloud of ruby spores, like motes of twilight. They flutter back to the cap and congeal into a rose plasma. I don't want to go near those. Maybe we'll come back another time. I smell roasted boar nearby. I won't investigate that. We'll move on. And cross the river Svi into the village of Kyakukya. Let's speak to Warden Indrix. Warden Indrix, goatfolk pariah. Beneath a mane of coarse hair, Warden Indrix's lips move without issuing forth any sound, perhaps in the formation of a litany invoked in the name of the vengeful god he serves. The coarse hair grows in an uninterrupted mass down his torso, that of a human, but broader and more taut with muscle than any man's, disappearing only behind the sash of his kilt. But for Mayor Nuntu and the warden himself, no one knows the circumstances of Indrix's estrangement from his kin, for no one dares mention it, lest they draw the warden's ire. One of his great curling horns has been cleanly cloven from his head, however. That same horn along with several others, hang from a belt slung low about Indrix's hips, giving him the distinction of being the only warrior to bear his own appendage as a trophy. He is hated by goat folk for some reason he won't share. Let's speak to Warden Indrix. Make haste, traveler. Why are you called pariah? Speak nothing of that name to me. You are warned. I apologize, Warden. I'm in search of work. Grah. There's but one task I know to offer. It is most treacherous, and in all likelihood you will perish. Is your interest waned? No. Continue. There is a river just south of the village that runs an eastwardly course into the jungle. Along its bank lies a goat folk village. There resides a mighty shaman, Mammon Soul Drinker. He is in possession of a talisman of great power, an amaranthine prism that refracts the psyche of its handler in much the same way as Mayor Nuntu has explained to me. A common prism refracts light. The thing is cursed, traveler. No man or goat may safely wield it for long. You must travel to the village and retrieve the prism from Mammon by any means necessary. Do you understand? Yes. Is there anything else I should know? There is. Firstly, Mammon will likely have several goat folk under his enthrallment, and they will protect him at all costs. Secondly, take care to stay out of Mammon's reach, for his power is most potent when he may lay hands on you. Finally, once you recover the prism, do not under any circumstances wield it. I needn't warn you of the consequences should you return to me bearing that charm. That is all. Are you willing? Yes, Warden. I am willing. We have received the new quest, Raising Indrix. Well, we won't be pursuing that quest for now. Let's explore the village. Who is this? A wood sprog. A body time fit to living in the smalls of spiral roots is kept warm by a layer of symbiotic moss fur. Bright eyes scan the forest points and then soften toward the stars. I think the wood sprog is walking away. I'm not going to chase them. What else is around here? This is a stone columbary. Etched into this mead hall for small winged friends are stories they cannot understand. This object is a monument to a scene from the history of Kyakukya. Under the beetle moon, folks settled here to gather goods of passage for ape-god Oboroqoru, and so Kyakukya was founded. And we note that in our histories. And walk along this path and see what else is around. Oh, we have some caravan guards. I wonder if there's a Dromad trader around. Here we go. There they are. And worshipper of Oboroqoru. Excellent. Well, let's speak to them. Be ape still and muse. Let's see what they have. A scoped grenade launcher. Awesome. Nothing of interest for me. Here's another wood sprog. Let's talk to them. Live and drink. Can't really speak to them. Wait. Have we read a description for a door yet? Let's read it. The slate is touched with years of handprints, and a ring of rust flakes off the top of the hinges. The door continues, though, its stubborn assertion of in and out. Wow, that's beautiful. Let's see about these. This shrine here is surrounded by flowers. It's a statue of Oboroqoru and a Neftali tinker worshipping. Can we speak with them? Be solder-handed, our roots loosen jewels from the soil. Excuse me, I am going to take a closer look at this statue. This stone idol of Oboroqoru stands 20 spans tall. Its nameless sculptor chose to depict the ape-god sitting cross-legged, with each of his 3 pairs of gargantuan arms grasping each other. The idol is swathed in vines, its caretakers ceding to nature save where the herbage has threatened to obscure Oboroqoru's gentle countenance. Wreaths of flowers of every hue the forest begets, azure, chartreuse, indigo, carnelian, litter the base of the shrine, insignificant offerings to what appears to be a callous god. We can desecrate or pray. We won't do either for now until we've achieved some understanding of the inhabitants of this village. It's in this home, a wood sprog. Looks like just someone's home, an apothecary. They're asleep. It is late. I'll close the door. And this house here is of mushroom flesh. Spore-rich slime glistens on the cage-like fruiting body, trimmed like a hedge to conform with the ordered angles of domesticity. should make camp and wait till morning before barging into people's homes. So, we'll make camp here for the evening. Gloaming, can you please move off of the fire? Thank you. Let's whip up a meal. Rummaging over your surroundings, you find these ingredients: a burnt capacitor, a dram of sea trash, a star palm frond, and an otherworldly burnt capacitor. That's a meal if I've ever seen one. And so, let's wait until morning. Can we? It's not working. I'm really not sure why it won't do that. Oh, it's already morning. I guess it's dawn. It's a little early, I guess. But that's okay. I'm not sure which home I should go into first. More mushroom homes. Let's see. This is an albino ape and worshipper. A snow-white slumping head is beset with keen and soft red eyes. His fur is powdery on his hulking ape frame, and on moontime instinct squeezes his fist into a chest beater. Hello. Pounds chest. Please you to seek him. Perhaps, friend, perhaps we will seek Oboroqoru. Until then, let's see who's in this home. Hello. We have a giant amoeba and a chitinous puma. Hex plates of firm and mingled fungus fill raise the plane of fur across the cat's back like meadowed mesas. Their rubbing against each other sounds like blades of grass. And their home mate, this giant amoeba. Slime within the quivering blob striates into different densities. You can barely perceive the outline of something inside. Six fingers to the earthen lips. These are devout worshippers. Who is this amongst the trees? Crow song. Someone is swaddled in the fleece of life and death. Grass and fern and moss grow on or are the svelte figure's clothes, and mushroom caps are the buttons and fasteners. A leery pipe of needlepoint ivy curtains their face, horn holds round their waist, and peeking through the canopied shoulder are the carved hilts of twin swords. The carved hilts of sword twins, rather. Well, let's speak to them. Isareth, who are you? Crow song, death wonder, a colony of ants eating me, the leaves, the light, and thereon. Why are you hiding in the bush? Crow song. Hiding? No. Being grass. The feeling of animate being radiate inward like a turned-out star. Why are you here in Kyakukya? Death is the color of everything, but sometimes it waves in bright ribbons, like here. The whittlers weigh their passing goods, and the walls are corpse eaters. Your twin blades are works of art. Where did you get them? Tugged from the claws of one who had become a cord in time's silly carpet. I outrooted the hilts and sheathed the blades, and now I am he. I still have the nail dirt. Live and drink, crow song. I will leave you be. This was the building that Morton Hendricks was outside. Here is Mayor Nuntu. A toga wraps his hulking bright fur frame, and a broad brim shades his wise and wide-set eyes. A sedentary life has sapped some of his ape strength. Burly shoulders slouch their weight onto a walking stick. A belly swells the linen around his waist, and plump, sloping cheeks rim a warm and welcoming grin. Mayor Nuntu is disliked by the villagers of Mimrikesh for telling bawdy jokes. Sounds like someone I want to be friends with. Let's look around at his home. He has an armchair, that's nice. And a book table. Oh, and a Barathrum clock. Barathrum's invention records time to the momentary tick by regulating its advance with a crown wheel. On learning of its utility, the water barons commissioned the assembly of dozens more in order to take precise measurements of their reservoirs at set moments of the day. A rare item indeed, directly from Barathrum himself. Mayor Nuntu has some means. And a waterbed. Wooden slats are laid on right angles in the style of the hill folk. In place of a chaff cushion, however, lies a plastic mattress pumped with unctuous water, an alternative favored by raft floaters who pine for the waves of the lake. Let's see what he has to say. Be ape still and muse, wanderer, and welcome to my village, Kyakukya. Have some mulled mushroom cider. You are an albino ape, correct? Why do you call it your village? Ah, bad habit. It's a possessive feeling I should work to scrub myself of, perhaps. But I am its mayor, and I have been for some time. You see, years ago I deserted my people. We were of two different minds. They desired nothing but to bludgeon everything to death, while I asked, what is the nature of this thing we bludgeon, or of the act itself? Recognizing that my answers lay elsewhere, I cast myself into the swell of the wilds as a sailor from Perth, with no wind-weird casts their ship to the whims of the pale sea. Some years later, and 20 ago, I came upon these mushrooms' huts and their goodly inhabitants. They are a people full of earthen poetry, and I was charmed by the warmth they welcomed me with. Surely I owed my acceptance at first to the countenance I share with their mighty god. But they soon grew to love me, and I them. I've remained here ever since in contemplation of those questions that first stirred in me all those years ago. What can you tell me about Kyakukya? We are watered by the river Spray. We pluck the fruit of the wood, and we hunt. The worshippers of Oboroqoru whittle and brood too. They will pay you no mind unless you ask of them. Here you can be with friends, or muse alone. If it's trade goods that interest you, take a gander at Ural's wares in the northwest corner. The odd one crow songs, too, if you can scry them in the bush. I must warn you, however, cast no villain's shadow on these grounds. Warden Indrix will be watching. Who is Ural? Ural is a harmless cucumber vine. They came to Kyakukya a few years ago, after the last consortium chandler. A wicked little hyacinth named Plysago suffered something of an accident. In Terotep's defense, Plysago shouldn't have berated someone with claws so close in resemblance to pruning shears. At any length, Ural stocks a plethora of goods. You will be satisfied with your visit. Tell me of Crow Song. Oh, another of our dwellers. I won't speak to what Crow Song's deal is. Best you find them and ask yourself. And of Indrix? Warden Indrix is one of the most ferocious warriors I've ever met. Once upon a time, he and his brothers gorged themselves on the flesh of beasts by starlight. But now I count myself lucky to call him my warden. Some believe he is of sour kind, though I assure you, he's but a victim of his goatish nature. I have some other questions. Is there work to be found? A water hand you are. Speak to my friend Warden Indrix. You'll find him patrolling. Very well, Mayor. Live and drink. I'd like to share my water with you. Let's see. The mayor can teach us how to make mulled mushroom cider. For now, we'll share some secrets. water, brother. Do you have anything to trade? Is an advertisement for the workshop of Kaun, legendary armorer. I want that. I want that. He also has a copy of the Corpus Colis, which I have a feeling we'll need. I will also buy that. In exchange, I have not much that I'm willing to part with, but I will part with some copper nuggets. And the rest I'll pony up. 20 drams. Thank you. No, too, I appreciate that. Let's read this. The finest goods at the workshop of Kaun, legendary armorer. Travel 1 parasang east and 1 parasang south of Joppa. And we gained a level for reading that. And so is our companion. Excellent. In the Corpus Colis. Note to reader. It is often said the cure of a plague is also the cause. While there is truth to the maxim, I've found it to be well supplemented by a broader and systematic approach to treatment. The following is a record of known afflictions, their symptoms and remedies, which I have compiled from the logs and personal notes I authored during the course of my 40-year tenure as physician and apothecary to the farmstead of Cardis. Abbot Urium of the neighboring monastery of the illustrious Heart of Chrome has agreed to instruct the monks of the scriptorium to reproduce this text for posterity. The reader who finds use in these notes is indebted to him. Beniyayut Iyam Cardis 56 YK. And in these pages are, just as was written, known afflictions and remedies to them. Now I know for a fact that this book has a few randomly generated, or procedurally generated rather, cures to certain afflictions like fickle gill and mumble mouth. Glot rot is another one I will be on the lookout for. It even references yuckweed and honey, as Maffeo had given us such keen advice. I'll read this section on glot rot because it will be important to us later. On glot rot. Glot rot is an affliction characterized by necrosis of the tongue. Judging by evidence gathered from my patients' accounts, I place the disease's origin within the cavern of Golgotha, where victims most likely contracted it from the putrid spawn of a Golgot. The afflicted patient will complain of soreness in the throat as the tongue tissue begins to swell. Within a week's span, the muscle Within a week's span, the muscle will soften and start to decompose. The patient will experience severe pain while ingesting food or drink and may agitate the last of the raw living tissue, causing the mouth to bleed. Over the following few days, the tongue will rot in its entirety, rendering the patient incapable of speech. Common remedies, yuckweed honey, are sometimes effective in reversing the necrosis if they are administered in its early stages. Once the tongue is completely rotted away, only the scarce Oboroqoru tonic will cause it to regrow. However, simply injecting the tonic will merely regrow the tongue, which will proceed to rot away once more. The patient must first ingest a potion called the Flaming Ick, 1 part wine, 1 part cider, 3 parts water, and drink from a flaming vessel. Once the patient's mouth is purged of the disease in this manner, the Oboroqoru tonic may be administered. Let's hope we don't contract glot rot. Hopefully, Ural will have some yuckweed and honey for us. Let's see if we can... Oh, these are the books in Mayor Nuntu's bookshelf. Frivolous Lives, Volume 1, a voluminous tome whose pages are bound between 2 slabs of waxed wood. Oh, wow. I would love to read this someday. Whoa. This is a lot. I love all of it. This is a history referencing Mehmet the First. Wow. I want this book, though it is not mine, and I don't want to take it directly out of Mayor Nuntu's shelf. Oh, this is excellent. The Heirlooms of Qud. Attachment to physical objects is a peculiar phenomenon. Often the bonds we form transcend physical values. They are steeped in history and rolled in tradition, and they elude rational explanation. It's unsurprising, then, that my research findings indicate certain preferences are held by the myriad factions of Qud for certain types of items. These preferences, each surely sculpted by some historical event lost to memory, persist in the veneration of certain cherished heirlooms. I've assembled a catalog of these preferences for posterity. This is compiled from the notes of Sheba Hegadius. This is excellent. I love this. Oh, wow. I think another time we can peruse Mayor Nuntu's bookshelf some more and do some light reading. Well, perhaps not very light, considering the content. Warden Indrix is entering this store. Fine wares from the consortium of Phyta. neglected to share our water with the warden, and I would like to. Is Mammon dead? Have you recovered the talisman? No, I haven't, but I'd like to share my water with you. And I'm now favored by the village of Kyakukya. Thank you, Warden. Now let's speak to Ural. Ural, a sentient cucumber vine, puts their roots down in a squat clay pot on the floor of their hut. Myriad wares rest on oaken shelves throughout the room, and with their tendrils, Ural exhibits them to interested customers by crawling along an iron trellis. You notice that Ural creeps towards products almost before you think of them. The gift of telepathy affords the sprightly vine a distinct advantage as a chandler. Friend, guns, knives, hats, cucumbers? What are you? What's your story? I am Ural, chandler and consortium notary. As for my story, I've been growing out of this pot for a while now. Before that, I was in another pot. Consortium? Yes, the Consortium of Phyta. We are a merchant fellowship of trees, vines, shrubs, weeds, flowers, herbs, cacti, algae, most sorts of plants, really. I can't say I trust any of them, but there is no doubting their usefulness. My shelves are full and the gossip flows. What about fungi? What about fungi? Ural flicks a leaf in displeasure. Are there any fungi in the consortium? Ural flicks several of their leaves. No, shop's closed, live and drink. But I am a gentle plant, friend. Uncross your roots and figure it out. Live and drink. Well, I really offended Ural. Your Ural has a lot of thoughts about fungus. Let's see what they have for sale. Nice good gear here, the plastifer sneakers. The plastifer sneakers are good. I want those. They are quite expensive. A flexi vest is also good. Has 3 dodge value, 2 armor. Elastine slippers give move speed. That's also quite nice. What about these spectacles? 2 almonds of glass sit in wireframe cups and resharpen the world's edges. Wonder if those do anything practical. I guess aside from helping one see. Well, Ural has a recoiler, so we're gonna partake in that. And a floating glow sphere. I want it, but it is expensive. For now. Oh, we can also buy some of Ural's ripe cucumbers. A long and warded neck of mint green was fruited on a fertile vine and picked crisp. Oh, delicious. Okay, so we want the recoiler, and we have. I don't want to get rid of my copper nuggets just yet. What about this hat? Cold resistance. I'm gonna hold on to that. I need that for later. I'll sell off some of this. And the Vine Reaper and Stun Rod. I was considering disassembling the Stun Rod, but I'll sell it. And I'll trade up 3 of my nuggets and pony up 23 drams. Thank you, Ural. I apologize for offending you. Excellent. What sort of gear do we have? We have the sandals of the River Wives, which is nice. I'd like to replace the toga. It's filthy. So, Ural, what about this flexi vest? A swath of elastine is sheer stretched over a cuirass of semi-hard plastic, forming a suit of maneuverable mail. Yeah, let's get those. Take my nuggets. I'm hesitant to give the wine in trade. I might need it. Let's sell some of this food I'm carrying. The fire ant gaster paste. And the food cube. So give them the food cubes as well as these grenades. I'll also sell a blaze injector. I think, let me see. I cannot be frozen. I have 100 heat resistance. Increases damage with heat. Minus cold resistance and plus quickness. Your temperature cannot be increased by external heat sources, and you must move around to avoid combusting and losing the effects of this tonic. Yeah, I'm not going to use that, so we'll sell it and pony up 36 drams. We have a good amount of water still, so I feel okay about that. And we will equip our flexi vest. And sell off the toga for less than a dram of water. Didn't even round up. Rounded down, in fact. That's fine. Ural can decide to pawn that off to someone else. What's over here? A plastic tree. Fronds are splayed out in a waxy imitation of life. It looks hard and greasy up close, but as you back away, its edges burn into softness, and it performs the tree function. What is this? A cline. It looks like a long bed or bench. Convivia in the Lyman, the boundary between sun-baked Mograi and the shade of the spindle, involves the mulling of cider, holography, and the arrangement of clenai at right angles. There's a bench and tables. Thank you, Ural. It will really help us on our quest. So let's speak to Crowsong actually and see if they have anything to trade. They have lots of food and animal parts. Ape fur gloves. So if I need more cold resistance, I can come and trade for that. Let's go see if the apothecary is available. In a wooden home, a wooden and mushroom home. What is this? Weathered wood with hanging mask. Here are several stripped trunks of sallow brinestalk, bonded with mud. Hung against them, from a quartet of nails, is a frayed moth-wing mask. Its delicate leaves of rust plaster are crocheted with nano weave and stretched across an armature of stiff wire. Where eyes once peered and a mouth breathed, resin now fills the gaps. Ciderer Ara stands by. They are clearly as nimble as other wood sprongs, but they bear the telltale marks of age and hurt at the edges. The fur about their sea-wide eyes is white now and threads the crow lines on their face. A patch of shoulder rises skin bare and pebbled with the memory of fire and steam. Finally, their apron, caked with ingredients viscera, clatters with ladles and tankards of carved chitin. Be nimble, wayfarer. Take in a draught of cider before leaving. I am Isareth. Who are you? I am called Ara. Branches part for you, Isareth. Why is the cider chunky? That'd be the mushrooms. Bit heartier, eh? Is that a Neftali mask over there? Is. Was Neftali once. Was. Not anymore. I quit. Lost most my minion to goat folk. The sour's eye fell upon us, and so we fell too. What is a minion? Pilgrims, drawn together by need and awe and inspiration. Tinkers and sodders and guards and scouts, alloyed under the pressure of life's work, family-like. What became of your godhead? I don't know. Wrecked, fled. I crawled away, never looked back. That's the all of it. May their memories bless you, Ara. As the very canopy, they will, thank you. Let us speak of something else. Raw has a vinewood sap mask to trade. A folded triangle pouch of burlap was impregnated with vinewood sap to absorb noxious vapor. I wonder if that functions as it says. I wonder if it works like a mask. Raw has some yuckweed and honey, so I will be purchasing those, of course, in preparation for Golgotha. For this I will trade the wine. It seems only appropriate. Oh man, I need to sell something else. What about this shade oil injector? You gain the ability to phase out of the spatial dimension for 7 to 9 rounds. Is that useful? Not right now, it's not, so I will sell it. Perfect. Uneven trade for some yuckweed and honey. I have to read that passage on Glotrod again later. Let's speak to the apothecary. Got a fungal infection? You'll want one of my spray bottles to apply the cure. What will you strum and dust for sod? Ooh, spray bottles. And more yuckweed. No honey, though. Oh, a love injector. A love injector is really valuable. If you inject someone else, they'll fall in love with you and follow you around. Nice. Or I can inject it in myself and fall in love with the first thing I look at. And that's fun. For now, we know what they have. And they have a book as well. Of goatskin vellum. Thank you, apothecary. We may see you again. Here's another one of these columbaries. Let's read it. I seem to have walked past this one a few times. Etched into this mead hall. No, I read that earlier. Let's read the history. In 979, Nuntu, the legendary albino ape, grew tired of bludgeoning things to death and journeyed to a root-strangled place on the river Svai. There he came upon Kyakukya and its inhabitants. The villagers of Kyakukya asked Nuntu to employ his magisterial skills and lead the village. Excellent. Let's see if there's anything else along these paths we've missed. I think not. Let's poke around the backs here, but I am fairly certain we have visited each domicile and spoke to the villagers. Excellent. The sun is going down now. Let's settle in camp. I'll put my metal folding chair down. And we'll sit in it. Wait for our Snapjaw friend here. Let's get them sorted out. And we'll whip up a quick meal and take a gander at our skills. We have 182 skill points. Something that would be valuable for us would be cooking, so we can prepare meals. What else would be valuable? Tinkering, of course. Acquiring Tinker 1 would be really valuable. And we have that Schema Soft cybernetic that will provide us recipes to tonics. Has 2 license points and installs into the head. And right now we only have the bionic hands and the optical techno scanner installed. So the Schema Soft, were we to have enough credits, would go in our head slot. But if we want to install something else onto the head, this would be destroyed. So maybe for now, Tinker 1 would be good. And some of these wayfaring skills are valuable too. The wilderness lore that will increase chances of finding interesting encounters and reduce the chances of getting lost, which is really good for us. So I think we are going to take Tinker 1, and with that we get a free schematic. It has given us 2 item mods, feathered and recycling. Feathered, if I recall correctly, simply gives a reputation bonus with birds or winged creatures. Can't remember. But recycling is quite good, if I recall. Let's get it. You have a flash of insight and scribe a data disk. Nice. And now we can also recharge energy cells and capacitors. We have 82 skill points still. And I think what we'll do is get wilderness lore jungles, as we are in the jungles. So having that wilderness lore will help us. Excellent. We have no attribute points, and we seem to be set. Let's look at this mod that we got. Beneath the metal shutter, a crystalline disc is grooved with microscopic pits that encode data. This will add the item modification recycling This item collects, purifies, and stores up to 8 drams of the wearer's wastewater. Yeah, that's really good. Excellent. So we're going to learn that. And here it is. We can modify our flexi vest to be recycling. But we are missing a tinkering bit. We're missing pristine electronics. So to tinker this mod, we need 1 pure alloy and 1 pristine electronic. So we need to find some pristine electronics, which is denoted by the number 4 in light blue. Let's see if we have any on hand. We do not. It seems like it's going to be a rarer bit to find, but that's okay. So, Warden Indrix has given us a quest to find Mammon Soul Drinker and return the Amaranthine Prism. So we will attempt to do so next time. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and chatting with the villagers of Kyakukya. I hope you found this video relaxing, and I hope you are able to get some well-deserved rest. Live and drink water, siblings.